Humans are pleasure monkeys. We like pleasure. We want to experience as much of it as possible, and we want to be happy all the time, if possible. We all want to be happy, and all of us sort of chase happiness in various forms. You know, somebody is working and making more money because in their mind getting a better car or a bigger house will bring them more happiness. Then there is somebody like me who's making videos, and in my mind, you know, the bigger the channel grows, the happier I will be. So like, when you look at everybody's life, you look at your own life, you evaluate your own life, many of your actions are seeking for more happiness, for more pleasure. Right? Like what, you know, you want to get a girlfriend, you want to get a boyfriend because you want to have sex, you want to get intimate, and you want to experience more pleasure, more happiness, more of the positive hormones that give you positive feelings. However that you can get that. So people get addicted to sugary foods because it plays on your dopamine receptors, which make you happier in the present moment. While you're eating the chocolate and your dopamine receptors are firing, you're happier. People get addicted to drugs because of the same reason. People get addicted to chasing money or chasing fame or chasing something because the accomplishment of a goal or the accomplishment of something does bring you a happiness. However, it's a temporary one. Let me give you an example here. Many of you guys are aware that the World Cup was going on. I mean, unless you live under a rock, you're aware that a week ago? I think the final was a week ago from when I'm making this video. Fine, let's say 2 weeks ago, just for the sake of it all. 2 weeks ago, the final of the World Cup happened between Croatia and France won the game, and France won the World Cup. And if you watch the celebrations, the players were ecstatic. They were crying, they were laughing. I mean, it was crazy. You know, it was a festival. And if you look at the Croatian players, they were sad and many of them were crying. So, knowing what I know about humans, knowing what I know about myself, I can almost guarantee you that the French players right now are kind of whatever about the World Cup win. They're probably still uplifted by it, but they're no longer ecstatic. They're thinking about next season now. They're thinking about their next move in life. They're thinking about the next thing. They're thinking about going to practice tomorrow, or some of them are going to go on vacations, right? They're thinking about their vacation with their wives, with their girlfriends, with their families, with their mothers. Guarantee you, they're not as ecstatic anymore, and the happiness is day by day from the winning the World Cup is wearing off. And just knowing what I know about humans, knowing what I know about myself, they've accomplished this grandiose goal. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that. Winning a World Cup. Really, it doesn't get bigger than that. The ecstasy of it all, it doesn't get bigger than that. It's probably like, or feels like you're having one big giant orgasm. That's gotta be what it feels like. You set a goal and then you accomplish it, and you know, it's this. I mean, really, the idea of winning the World Cup, it's just society. A large group of people place an importance value on it. So then a bunch of people agree that if I win this thing, then I have triumphed. The funny thing is, you can be in that triumph all the time if you want to. Because really, it's just a socially constructed thing. It's a World Cup. Everybody's watching. It's a big deal, right? So people win it. You set a goal. I want to win this big thing that is held very high, deemed very high by society. And so you win it, and you feel ecstatic and orgasmic and all of that. Knowing what I know about the way humans work, I can guarantee you day by day that happiness is wearing off, and before you know it, it's just a memory. It's just a memory. I don't think there are players from the French team right now sitting around and like, fuck yeah, I won the World Cup 2 weeks ago. I think they did that the first few days, but just, that's humans. We move on, we go back to the present moment. It's what's next. And that's the first type of happiness, right? That's the transient one. But on the other hand, even the sadness of the Croatian players, I mean, they were partying the next day. When they went, they were partying. They were dancing and they were partying, and by the time they got to Croatia, they like 1/8 of the population of Croatia went to greet them, and they were just happy and partying and dancing, and it was they were having a good time. So even the sadness, that's why I like to make the videos indoors, because there's a lot of noises here. So even the sadness of the Croatian players is transient too. So that's the first type of happiness, right? The first type of happiness that many of us are chasing regularly is the transient type. You're looking forward for your next orgasm, for your next sexual partner, for your next big thing, for your next promotion, for your next car, for, let's say, for your next whatever, man, any target, any goal. And you know something, when you reach it, you'll be pretty happy in that moment. I mean, really, you will be. You will be. That's why we chase these things. You're looking for your next meal, for your next cheat meal, because you're gonna have, you know, cheesecake and chocolate and a juicy burger, okay? And it's gonna shoot up your dopamine receptors. You've been sort of on this bland diet, you're trying to lose weight, etc., but you're looking forward for that cheat meal. You're looking forward for that in the moment happiness that you get, but you know it's transient. It too shall pass. That's the happiness we're most trapped in. This is the happiness trap. This is the societal happiness trap. Society tells you, hey, look, these are the ideals. This is the ideal house, the ideal car, the ideal husband, the ideal wife. These are the ideals that we as a society deem to be valuable. Go and chase them because they'll make you happier. And so you get trapped in it, you chase it, you're not really happy most of your existence, moment to moment, and then maybe you reach your goals, maybe you get what society or what your belief system tells you are the worthy things in life, and maybe you don't. So maybe you get them, maybe you win that World Cup, and the World Cup here is a metaphor for whatever in your life is a World Cup, right? For me, winning the World Cup would be getting 1 million subscribers, and that's my version of the World Cup, right? On this channel. So you win the World Cup in your life, maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you do, you'll be really happy. You'll be really happy for a certain period of time, not very long, maybe a week tops. You'll be happy. I can see myself, if I get 1 million subscribers, I'll be ecstatic for like a week. But then I know I'm just gonna move on, and that the happiness is just gonna wear off day by day, you know? So maybe you do, maybe you don't, and for most people they don't even get there. So like they're miserable literally all the time. That's the first form of happiness. The second form of happiness, this is the more permanent one. This is the more long-lasting one. And I don't want to say permanent because nothing is permanent in this dimension as far as this dimension is concerned. But the other type of happiness that we're talking about, this is the long-lasting. This is the one you carry from moment to moment. This is once you've mastered this way of being, you can be happy like 99.9% of the time. Once you master it. This is the moment-to-moment happiness. This is the joy of being. This is the joy of the soul, of just being in the moment. You see? This is the soul type happiness. This is a higher consciousness type happiness, where you realize you are the universe, where you realize you are connected with all of being. You're connected with it all. And there is nothing to chase, there is nothing to worry about, there is nothing to do really, except for to stay true to the flow of the present moment. And by tuning into the flow of the present moment, you're sort of come up with this cheat code to be happy all the time, because you're in flow with the universe, you're in flow with the Tao. you see. So for example, if you stay in flow, let's give you an example. My flow right now says make a video. I'm very happy to make this video. Very, very happy. Truly, authentically happy to make this video. That's why my videos are pretty fucking good, because I wait for the flow to come to me. I wait for the muse. I wait for the Tao to signal to me. Now it's time to make a video. And because I do, when I make it, I'm very positive and happy. And so because I am in a positive state, my thinking capacity and the neurons are shooting at just the right synchronistic flow. And I'm saying just the words I need to be saying. Then, maybe a little bit later on in the day, what makes me happier is going to the gym, because I feel the flow of the Tao. I feel, alright, I just want to go and do handstands, right? And I want to go and do pull-ups, and then I go and do handstands and I do pull-ups, and I'm happy and ecstatic in that moment because I'm staying true to the force. Let's say at sometime between 5 and 6, I want to pick up a book and read it. And I just want to pick up a book and read it, and and that will make me the happiest I can do in that moment. And I pick up the book and read it. If I don't pick up the book and instead I'm like tired maybe and I go to the gym, I won't be happy going to the gym, because I didn't stay true to the Tao. I didn't stay true to the flow of the moment. And that's the joy of being alive. That's the moment-to-moment happiness. It's just tuning yourself in with the flow, with the universe, and just kind of surrendering to that flow. Then you'll always be exactly where you need to be, and you will always be doing exactly what you need to do, and you'll be happy. You'll be happy with whatever you're doing. You won't be reading a book and be like, fuck man, I wish I was at that party right now. Because you don't need, it's like your mind, right? Your mind, your society gets to you through your mind, is telling you, dude, go to that party. There's gonna be hot chicks there, and you're missing out on all the fun. But then your heart, which is your flow, your connection with the universe, is telling you, I just want to like sit down and read a book. I just will be so happy doing that. You see? So that's the mind, society, is where your misery lies, and that's your heart, where your connection with the flow of the Tao makes you happy. And staying true to that is gonna give you this long-lasting moment-to-moment happiness, right? I'll tell you something, man. Like by the time it's 10 p.m., 11 p.m., the thing that makes me the most happy is going to sleep. This is why I fall asleep very easily, because I let go into it. I'm like, I'm tired, my body's tired, I don't want to do nothing else. And I'm happiest when I'm on my bed sleeping, and I just fall asleep very quickly, because I know this is the best thing I can do right now that will make me the happiest. It's just staying true to the Tao. It's staying true to the flow. That's the long-lasting, moment-to-moment happiness. And it's not always ecstatic. You see, when you're sitting there reading a book, you're not ecstatic. It's contentment. You're content. That's what the deeper happiness is. I'm not gonna say the real happiness, because when you get that promotion, when you get that car, when you get that house, when you have that orgasm, when you reach 1 million subscribers in my case, that's happiness, man. That's ecstasy. And in that moment, that's happiness. When you're eating that chocolate bar, when you're eating that cheesecake, that's happiness. There is happiness there. I'm not gonna call it fake happiness. It's real in the moment. Okay, it's really in the moment. But the deeper happiness is the contentment. It's just being content in the present moment. Whatever the present moment calls upon you. Whatever the present moment is asking you to do, is calling you to do. And that's very rare to find if you're plugged to the matrix, if you're plugged into society, if you're living in your head all the time, if you're listening to the voices, the external voices that tell you you'll only be happy when your body looks better, when your tits are bigger, or your ass is bigger, or when your hair is longer, or whatever. Those are the external voices telling you, these are the ideal conditions. There's a saying, happiness equals reality minus expectations, and expectations are a mind thing. They're a mental thing. Once you remove the expectations, you're left with reality, and happiness equals reality. And really, the deeper happiness is the contentment with the present moment. That's the conclusion of this video, okay? And I think that's where I'm gonna finish it off. Now it's time for me to advertise. So if you want some freebies, check out my free book, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life in All Areas. It's for free. You can check it out at 5powerfulhabits.com or link for it in the description. Also check out my book, The Master Player, a practical guide to win the game of life. And you guys know how much I rant, how much I ramble, and how convinced I am that we're inside a simulation. And I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad Elon Musk on the same team as me when it comes to, or I'm on the same team as Elon Musk. I mean, I don't want to compare myself to Elon Musk here because this guy is a crazy motherfucker. He's trying to take us to Mars and shit, okay? But I'm on team Elon Musk when it comes to the simulation theory. I'm pretty convinced we're inside a simulation, a computer simulation, and this is a video game. So I sort of look upon this video game and say, well, how can you win? How can you be a master player? So that's my book, themasterplayer.com. You will also see a link for it in the description, and I'll leave something in the comment about it as well. Also, I'm doing one-on-one consulting over Skype online. If you got anything you want to talk about with me, okay? I mean, really, anything personal or impersonal, right? If you've got some problems with your assholes because maybe, you know, you've not been eating the right food, then I will do my best to examine that, but not physically, okay? We will sit down and see what have you been eating and, you know, go from there. Because I have been having some problems with my assholes lately, and so I go the extra mile to fix them. And once you go the extra mile to fix them, and I'm in the process of fixing them, then you can help others do the same. Also, like if you're going through a heartbreak or break up with some asshole or some bitch, then we can both sit down and bond about how much of an asshole he was or how much of a bitch she was. No, just kidding. That's not what we're gonna do. But we'll talk about anything that you need to talk about, okay? So, link for the consulting if you want to book a session in the description. I'll leave something in the comments as well. And advertisement over. And this is the part where I say God bless you all, guys. And I love every single one of you, but don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.